Hi everybody, thank you for joining us this evening. So my name's Beth and I am the head of charity operations, head of charity operations. I think that's right. It's a new job title, so I'm still getting used to it. So thank you for joining us this evening. Janine's obviously spoken a lot about our annual review that we're hoping to be able to get out to you all soon, and some of the amazing projects and work that features within that. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the projects we funded, but they're a bit more recent, I suppose, than the ones that we were looking back during COVID. So at the moment, we currently have around 50 projects as a charity that we are working on. So those are projects that we've either committed to fundraise for, or we have already got the funding for, and we are looking after them as projects as they kind of get going and get built, or whatever they might be. So some of those projects are the larger projects, particularly a really great one is our Medicine for Older People project and our Meller House, and you're going to hear more about those a little bit later on. So I won't talk about those at the moment. But some of the other larger projects that we've been funding are a neonatal ambulance. We completed fundraising for that, and that has now been delivered. I don't think it's in use yet. I think it's still undergoing a few snags, but hopefully it will be out and about soon. So that's a really exciting one for us. And again, wouldn't have been possible without our community supporters. So thank you for that one. We've got another kind of few smaller items as well that we fund. You know, the big ones are amazing, but the smaller ones are the ones that we're able to say yes to a lot more often. And those include things like cancer care equipment, particularly vein finders, which again just helps the journey of the patient. It makes the patient more comfortable when they're having their treatment, and it makes it a lot quicker. And it's obviously easier for the staff to be able to kind of work with that as well. So we've got a lot of those smaller items that are happening. We've also been working with some of the wards and departments to support them in spending some of their funds. So particularly neuro and child health have been going out to their staff and asking, what do they want to spend some of the money on? Have they seen areas that could do with some improvement? Is there any kit and equipment that they would like to buy? And in neuro, that's called niceties and niggles. And people can submit bids and ask for funding. And some of the things that we funded through these smaller projects include radio. So there's now a radio in every bed bay across neuro. So they've been having lots of deliveries coming, which is always lovely to see. And another one this week is, again for neuro, is reclining chairs. So we've ordered some reclining chairs that enable patients to sit more comfortably, but also relatives can sit in them, and they also turn into beds. So it's slightly more comfortable, particularly if there's any end-of-life care happening, that families can actually stay with their loved ones, which makes such a difference to families. And we've also launched some research funding projects as well. So we've been working with the research and development teams here at the hospital, and we have launched projects up to £100,000 for seed funding, so that again, people within the trust can apply for it and start some really amazing research projects. So that's really good, and it's another way of supporting different areas within the hospital that might not always benefit from as much of the donations that come in. So that's really exciting, and we haven't done as many research projects in the past, so we're excited to see the results of those as well, and we can hopefully update you on those with our next Zoom meeting. So I think I'm now going to hand you over to one of our lovely guest speakers to talk a little bit more in detail about the projects, and I believe it's Julie. Is that right? Yes, I got the right. So Julie is going to talk to you all about Meller House for us, because she knows a lot more about it than I do. So thank you ever so much, Julie.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Julie Taylor and I am the Hotel Services Manager for the Trust. Just giving you a little bit of a brief history about Meller House. Meller House was named after a consultant that worked at the hospitals in the mid-60s. And Meller House was originally a porter cabin in the hospital grounds, which was able to house 2 or 3 families. for a period of time so that they could be close to their relatives while their relatives were in hospital. It was later moved to Victoria House, where it was a bungalow style accommodation, which was able to cater for 24 people in shared rooms. Now, this was actually, the hospital decided would be much better used for a orthopedic rehabilitation unit. So Meller House then was created from 4 houses on the outskirts of the hospital boundary in 1993. Now, this was then knocked through, renovated to provide 9 rooms, which would accommodate 19 people in shared accommodation. And it was officially opened on the 16th of November in 1993. Now, over the years, we've had various alterations, but we were lucky enough with the donation from the hospital charities and also the Trust's Estates Department. We were lucky to have renovations, which enabled us to convert 4 of the bedrooms into ensuite rooms. We were able to recarpet, move the kitchen. So now we have a fabulous place, which is 8 ensuite rooms, 1 family room with a separate bathroom, 2 light and airy lounges, a fabulous kitchen, which you can all sit around a table, chat over a coffee. And we have a lovely garden and car parking, and also free Wi-Fi. So for us, from my team, we are absolutely thrilled. It's a place where relatives can be within a stone's throw of the hospital. They can come away from the hospital at times, have a calm environment that they can relax, switch off, but also only be minutes to get back to the ward should they need to. Now, this is an emergency accommodation. It's not something that you can book in advance, but we're always able to offer that emergency cover for people when they come to see us. Recently, we've had lots of people come and stay with us. We opened back up in December, and we've had various people come to stay with us. Recently, we've had a couple which were on holiday in England. The husband was taken poorly. We had a lady from Germany that didn't speak a word of English. So it was very difficult for myself and my team to make sure that she was okay. It was only after a few days that we realised actually she wasn't in good health herself, and we had to make sure that we could secure medication for her. So not only are we there to provide accommodation, we're also there to provide help and support for the people that use our property while they're staying with us. We want it to be relaxing. We want them to be able to ask us questions, and we want to be able to help them. It's not necessarily a 9-to-5 job. We will try and do everything we can within those hours, but sometimes we aren't worried to pop back in. As I say, over the bank holiday weekend, we popped back in to make sure this lady was okay, because we knew that she didn't have anybody here. And we felt that for 5-10 minutes, it was worth popping in just to check that she was okay. So, as I say, Meller House, we've got some lovely pictures of the property, which, as you can see, it's very secure. It's a stone's throw from the hospital. You can access it via a gate. So within minutes, you can be back onto the wards. Now, all the rooms are en suites, so that and they're not shared anymore. So they're 8 twin bedded rooms and 1 family room that can sleep 3 adults and 2 children in cots if we need them. As I say, at the moment, they are nice, clean and bright, but we know we can always do more. We can improve on what we already have. As I say, I've got a team of 3 ladies, and we rotate through working there most days. The property in itself was originally 4 houses, so it's a little bit up and down, and you go round and round, but it's got its nice quirky areas. And as I say, the kitchen is fabulous. It's a really nice, bright and airy room. It's decorated very neutral, and hopefully it would be to everybody's taste. I'm not sure what else you'd like me to say now.
Thank you very much, Julie. That's great. Yeah, so as Julie was saying, Meller House really has had a lot of work put into it. And you can see from the pictures, it's looking fantastic. Lovely, secure plot, and I mean the bedrooms look absolutely fantastic. The ensuite is amazing. The shower looks super inviting after a stressful day. So it's great, the amount of work that's been put in it, and that dining room table, like you say, perfect for everyone to sit around and chat and catch up with each other. So thank you very much, Julie. Great to hear from you.
Thank you.
Next, we are going to go over to Rachel. Are you there, Rachel?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Rachel.
Good evening.
Thank you very much. Rachel is going to talk to us a bit about MOP.
Yes. So MOP is the Medicine for Older People team, and I'm one of the advanced physiotherapists on that team. I've been working on this project, which is the gym redevelopment project, since I joined the trust in August last year. So when I joined the trust, the ball had already started rolling. We'd got the funding, we were in the early stages of planning, and I took over from one of the OTs called Linda Snook. So since then, we've been planning how we want it to look, the layout, the kit, everything that we want in the gym. And really the objective of it was to just completely renovate it, get the right equipment that we need to provide really good rehab and input for our patients. So the picture that you can see there, unfortunately, isn't the very beginning, but it's the very beginning of the renovations. So you can see everything was completely ripped out. We started from scratch to develop something that would really work for our team and for our patients. So to just give a bit of context on the process of the gym and why we need it, really, the MOP team and the MOP cohort of patients really has been hit pretty hard by COVID, as has everybody, but the elderly population in particular were just extremely vulnerable throughout this whole time, and even the mechanisms that were designed to protect them, like the self-isolation, had a really detrimental effect on that population. It just meant that they were stayed within their houses, were less active, were really lonely, and we're kind of feeling the effects of that on our team and with the patients that we treat. Also from a hospital perspective, the MOP team, our wards were very much displaced by COVID. We've been dealing with COVID on G level, which is where that gym is located throughout the whole of the pandemic time. So we're now kind of reaching a really nice turning point, which times really well with this project, because COVID seems to be kind of, from our hospital perspective, we're still dealing with it, but I think we're now at a point where we can refocus on the MOP service as a whole. And the gym is just a really great point to focus on, because the gym represents not only exercise, physical activity, rehabilitation, but just the simple act of taking a patient away from their bed space and taking them to a place where it's inviting, it's motivating. We can use lots of different types of kit in there to give them a different range of rehab that's accessible for them. It's a great kind of turning point for us, and I'm really excited for the opportunities that it's going to create. The pieces of equipment that we have in there at the moment, so the gym renovations have almost finished. So the room, this is what the room looks like today. I took these pictures today. So as you can see, the difference is just amazing. They've done an incredible job. It's beautiful, it's light, it's designed in our therapy colours. And also we have got kit that's ready to go in there. As soon as they give us the go ahead that it's completely sorted, we can get in there and start seeing patients. There's still a lot of kit that we need to that needs to arrive, but it will come. And we're hoping by the end of this month that we'll have patients in there. The two pieces of kit that you can see in there are our motor meds. So this is our whole team getting training on the motor meds when they got delivered. So we're chomping at the bit to try and get these pieces of kit in action. So like I say, very soon they will be. But these essentially are exercise bikes that you can use for your legs or your arms. The company that donated them to us, we bought them from, they kindly donated the second one for free. So that was Medimotion that did that. So these two pieces of kit will enable us to do like cardiovascular exercise, resistance exercise, which is all really important with our patient cohort. And as you can see, our team were already enjoying them. We're also going to get some really interesting pieces of kit that go above and beyond our normal kind of rehab tools that we would have in our therapy gym and what we've had historically. So normally in a therapy gym, you might see parallel bars, so you can train people's walking within them. You'd obviously have weights and things like that, but we've ordered an interactive projector for the gym, which is something that is a portable projector. You can project it onto the wall, the floor, a table, and it's something that's interactive that the patients can really engage with. You can play football on the floor, for example, get them to kick a ball about, which will really help with balance rehab. You can put it onto the wall and get them reaching out for things. There are sensory exercises for patients that have cognitive impairment, such as patients living with dementia. So there's really nice games on there where they can colour things in with their hands. There's a image projection, so you have an image that projects water, and a really nice example that they gave us when they came to do a demonstration is if you put a tray of water on the table and asked a dementia patient to put their hands in that water, the sensation of the water and the visual images and the sounds can really immerse them in that experience, which is such a lovely thing to be able to do. It has relaxation techniques, breathing exercises, and because it's portable, it's not only something that we can use within the gym space, it's something that we can take to patients' bedside. So for those patients that aren't able to access the gym for whatever reason, we'll be able to take that to their bedside and interact with them in that space. So that's really special and something that we're really looking forward to using. As I said, we're aiming to complete it by the end of the month. And I think being able to use a gym will just be so special for the therapy team, because as I said, it's not just a physical benefit, it's a psychological benefit. Being in a space that's not your bedside in hospital, which you are in the vast majority of the time, is so important. And it's not just a space where we can help educate our patients, it's a space where we can educate our staff as well, and really promote that rehab ethos. So I think during the pandemic in particular, we'll now have members of staff on our team, the junior members, that won't really have experienced what true rehab is in the actual sense of the word. You know, we're really focused on crisis management and trying to support people to get out of hospital as soon as possible, and we've kind of forgotten that real therapy ethos that we need even within the acute setting. Obviously discharging patients is really important, but being able to discharge them with an experience that shows them what exercise can be, what it can do for your body, how you can feel after you've done a proper exercise program is going to be so important, and something that we wouldn't have the opportunity to do without a space like this. It also gives us additional opportunities. So for example, there is a charity funded project that we're also working on involving hiring an exercise practitioner. So it's something that we're looking into doing in partnership with the Saints Charity. And the gym, it will be a space for that person to come in and conduct exercise groups, education classes. They'll do one-to-one training with the patients, more specifically around falls rehab. And also that will allow us to kind of link in with the community a little bit better. You know, tell the patients what we can offer them when they go home from hospital. You know, if you like this exercise, if you want to do more of this type of thing, then this is what you can access at home. So it's just a really beautiful way of linking our rehab ethos, not only for what it can do for the patients in the hospital, but really building that connection with what happens for that patient when they go home, and trying to educate them in in the benefits of exercise and activity as well. And as I said, if we're aiming to do groups, we'll be looking at easing that kind of social isolation that people have experienced recently, and are still experiencing in their own homes. Even before the pandemic started, loneliness was a huge problem in this patient cohort. So being able to take them into a space where they can interact and be around people is just a fantastic opportunity. So as I said, it's a beautiful space. It's almost there. We're really excited to get all this new kit in there and get started seeing our patients. And thank you so much for all the donations. We'll be sharing our progress on social media once it's finished and up and running. Hopefully we'll get some patient experience for everyone to see what a difference it's making. But yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rachel. It's so good to see the difference between as you said, that this picture here isn't the start. This had already had a bit of work done on it, and just to see the progress from this very empty, dark space to this bright, welcoming environment, and all your smiley team members there.
I know, exactly. They're so happy. It's going to look great when it's all finished. It's got all the kit in it. It's going to be so good. Yeah,
it really is, and we're looking forward to seeing the end result. Thank you very much.